Peace be upon you and your family. Alloy formation in transition metal. In the previous video, in transition element series, so far we have discussed with a number of properties of transition metals. Electronic configuration, variation of atomic and ionic size, oxidation state, ionization enthalpy, standard electrode potentials of transition metal, magnetic properties, how to calculate spin only magnetic moment, then catalytic properties, all we discussed. In the incoming video, we are going to discuss the complex formation and interstitial compound formation of transition metal. In this video, alloy formation in transition metal. What is an alloy? Simply a mixture of metals or a mixture of metals and non-metals are called alloy. Alloy, a mixture of metals or a mixture of metals and non-metals are called alloy. An alloy is formed by blending a metal with one or more other elements. An alloy is formed by blending a metal with one or more other elements. The elements may be metal or non-metals or both, but an alloy containing at least one metal. The bulk metal is named as solvent. That means the metal with a high percentage is solvent and the other elements in smaller proportions are called solute. So the metal with a high percentage is called a solvent and the other element, may be metal or non-metal, in smaller percentage are called solute. According to Hume-Rothery rule, to form a substitute alloy, the difference between the atomic radii of solvent and solute is less than 15%. So the solvent and solute atomic radii must be less than 15%. Both the solvent and solute must have the same crystal structure. All are PCC, all are FCC, all are HCP. They are all having the same crystal structure and valency, and their electronegativity difference must be close to zero. Their electronegativity difference must be close to zero. If the metals and non-metals obey these conditions, they form alloy. Transition metals satisfying these mentioned conditions form a number of alloys among themselves. Since their atomic sizes are similar and one metal atom can be easily replaced by another metal atom from its crystal lattice to form an alloy. The alloys so formed are hard and often have high melting points. Example, ferrous alloys, gold copper alloy, chrome alloy, etc. etc. We will discuss the examples of alloy which are following the conditions given by Hume and Rothery. Alloy formation in transition metals, Hume-Rothery rule. So, the first condition to form an alloy is the atomic radii atomic radii of both solvent, that means the metal with high percentage, both solvent and solute, the metals with low percentage, is less than 15 percentage. The first condition is the atomic radii of both solvent and solute is less than 15 percentage. So what is the second condition? Second condition, the crystal structure. The crystal structure. Crystal structure means PCC, FCC and HCB, double hexagonal close packed, rhombohedral, crystal structure and valency. Valency of both solvent and solute, both solvent and solute, both solvent and solute must be same, crystal structure and valencies of both solvent and solute must be same. What is the third condition to form an alloy? Electronegativity. Tendency of an atom to pull the shared pair of electron towards itself in a covalent molecule. Electronegativity difference. Or in other words, difference between electronegativity of the solvent and solute must be close to each other. Close to zero, not close to each other, close to zero. Transition metals satisfying these mentioned conditions form a number of alloys among themselves. Because of their atomic sizes or atomic radii are similar, one atom in the crystal lattice can be easily replaced by another atom. Now we are going to see some examples of alloy. Examples of copper. Brass. An alloy of copper with copper and Zn, zinc. Copper and zinc. The very most important alloy of copper is brass. The percentage of copper in brass is, if it is 80%, zinc must be in 20%. The high percentage metal is called solvent and the low percentage metal is called solute. Their atomic radii should be less than 15%. And one more thing is, their electronegativity difference must be close to zero. The electronegativity of copper is 1.9. That for zinc is 1.6. Their electronegativity difference should be close to 0.3. The percentage of zinc and copper may vary to prepare more number of alloys, but their atomic radii difference should be less than 15%. We can change the percentage of copper and zinc, but their atomic radii difference should be less than 15%. And one more, a very known alloys of copper is bronze. Alloy of copper. It contains a mixture of copper and tin, Sn. The percentage of element 75% and 25%. The percentage may be vary, but the atomic radii difference is less than 15%. The metal with a high percentage is called solvent, and the metal with a low percentage is called solute. One is solvent, another one is solute. The electronegativity of copper is 1.9 and that for Sn is 1.8. Their difference is close to 0. Therefore, they can form alloy. And the first properties, first rule in Hume-Rothery, what we studied, their atomic radii must be less than 15% and the element should have same crystal structure and valency. For example, copper metal made up of number of copper atom in the crystal lattice of copper. A simple segmental diagram I am drawing here. Say this is copper. We are mixing zinc Zn with copper. Zn is mixed with copper to form a brass. If both the metal have same crystal structure and valency and the atomic radii are similar, one metal atom from its crystal lattice can be easily replaced by another metal atom. The atomic radii must be similar and they have same crystal structure and valency. One metal atom is easily replaced by another metal atom. One metal atom can easily replaced by another metal atom. To form an alloy, the conditions are very most important. One more alloys we studied, that is stainless steel. Stainless steel. It is an example of alloy. Steel is a mixture of iron and carbon. Steel is a mixture of iron and carbon. To protect iron from rusting, chromium is mixed. To give lustrous to alloy, nickel is mixed. So, stainless steel is a mixture of nickel, chromium, iron and carbon. How the stainless steel is protected from rusting? The chromium present in this stainless steel, in this alloy, form chromic oxide, Cr2O3. The oxide layer is formed on the surface of stainless steel. The oxide layer is formed on the surface of stainless steel. Say this is your stainless steel, means the oxide layer is formed on the surface of stainless steel. That oxide layer protect this alloy from corrosion. So this is about the alloy formation in transition metal. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching this video.